101.5. Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. One of the fun things about living in Marion County is the fact that we've got horses everywhere. Not only are they beautiful, but they are fun to ride. And I've done it a few times myself. I would never even begin to claim I was good at it. But it's fascinating. You know, my favorite part about the horses in our community are the events that are normally associated with the horses. So this show is called Horse Sense, and it is brought to you by the Equine Alliance of Marion County. The goal, I have on my notes here, is to promote the horse capital of the world, which is Ocala, or Marion County. I don't know if we say the county or the city. Focusing on connecting, educating, and communicating with the community so that we all can kind of on the same page when it comes to this wonderful resource we have. And it says here, FTBOA, the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, did I get that right, Tammy? Is the sponsor for this week's show. And your hosts today, Tammy Ganton, Lonnie Powell. And I hope I didn't leave anything out. If I did, I apologize. We'll make it up. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Let me make sure you're on the microphone over here, Tammy. So do we have a topic today, a specific horse-related topic?
I think we're going to talk a little bit about the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, what we're doing, maybe some of our upcoming events, and just have some conversation about the horse industry in general, I believe.
So when you say FTBOA, you probably have something totally different than I do. You know what it means to me? It means OBS. It's like the same thing. It's like that's where you go to bet on horses.
I think we're often confused with OBS in our community, and it's not. It's not a bad confusion because we are very close. We have a very close relationship, but the way you would look at it is OBS, yes, they have a facility over there that more importantly offers horse sales, some of the biggest horse sales in the world, 6-8 plus times a year, but they also have that facility that you think of where wagers can be placed, simulcast wagers on tracks from other places. But they're a for-profit company that is primarily the retail outlet for horses in our area.
Okay.
We, as the breeders and the owners, are the people that actually raise and own those horses, that buy and sell those horses, that take them to OBS or buy them at OBS and take them out and either use them for breeding or racing purposes. So in some states we would be one and the same. The way it is in Florida, there's a little bit of division there, but you're awfully close. There's nothing wrong with confusing the two. We work very closely together. We're next door neighbors, in fact, where our facilities are, as you know.
Oh, maybe that's part of it too.
Yes.
And again, I do a radio show, and I love the horses. I love, what I love too. You know what happened for me? I don't know if this is even apropos, but I was, to be honest, when I moved here, I was 17. Just so you know, it's a long time ago. I was not a country music fan. I went to my first horse event because my sister, who was 7 years younger than me, so she was only 10, decided she wanted to have horseback riding lessons. And as I had my driver's license, I used to drive her to Kingsland Stables, I think. I don't even know if they're still there, but there's a McDonald's there now. I don't 200. Anyway, long story short, they played country music and there were horses, and suddenly, boom, it hit me. So
yeah, it usually starts, the horse fever usually starts with young girls. They love horses and they get involved. Yeah. It's always your sister or something. Yeah, right. I was a little bit different. I got involved because I grew up in Missouri and I grew up around horses. And so I got involved in racing at 11 years old because for some reason I saw a race on TV. and said I wanted to work in horse racing for the rest of my life. And so since then I pursued that, and that's what my career has led to. And so now with the FTBOA, we promote the mission of Florida thoroughbreds, not just in the country, but internationally. And so it's fascinating because the OBS and sales play a big role. Last year, they had $93 million in sales of horses, and it has the premier 2-year-old in training sales in March and April here. So we like being associated with the OBS, and then what happens is we are promoting that further mission of the Florida thoroughbred through various sectors that we are involved in.
It's something that I think a lot of folks either take for granted or don't realize here in Florida is our thoroughbred industry here is the second largest in North America. So only next to Kentucky.
Oh, really?
But otherwise, Florida is the horse state. And when you have that type of a tradition, that type of infrastructure in terms of an equine infrastructure, which is really evident here in Marion County, places like OBS, the feed stores, the veterinarians, the farriers, any type of equine related business has a chance to really thrive because we've got the perfect environment here. And that's something that's really important that we want to make sure we maintain, if not even grow, even through the tough economic times. Our industry took a tough hit, as did a lot of the horse industry throughout the country during the recession. But Florida, more than any other state in the country or province in Canada, is showing more recovery and more willingness of globally and locally of people to reinvest back in the business. So it's kind of an exciting time for us after being through some tough times with the recession.
That's good to know.
But and it's there's never been a better time to invest in Florida breds. It's and that's pretty exciting for us. You also hit on another point that I'd just like to echo that Tammy echoed. When it comes to horses, it seems like nobody just comes across and falls in love with horses by themselves. It takes somebody else, a family member, a relative, a business associate that exposes you to them. When you're kids, it's oftentimes because of children and oftentimes because of the girls in the family wanting a pony and so forth. Right. As you get to be an adult, and let's say the racetrack, we have found that very few people actually experience that by themselves. It's taken a family member or a friend to take them to the track. Tammy and I come from it a little bit differently. She's kind of in the middle there. She got inspired early on, like she said, living in a non-racing state, but seeing a big race on TV. My father was a jockey. I had no choice.
Oh, really?
So I've spent the last 50-some years thinking I'm getting out of the business, and I just get into it deeper and deeper because it's what I know and it's what I love. And so there's all these wonderful stories on how people get involved, but nonetheless, once you've had that exposure to horses, it just seems like it's contagious. It never goes away, and you become almost an evangelistic in your approach to talking horses with other people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can I ask an equine 101 question?
Oh,
Of
boy.
course.
What does the word thoroughbred actually mean?
The thoroughbred's a breed of horse, so it'd be like dogs. There's Dachshunds and Golden Retrievers. So it's a breed, which is a specialized type of horse, and so they're bred for racing. I mean, it's just in their heart and soul, and that comes from England, actually. And so you hear the highest honor that a horse can receive is an Eclipse Award in thoroughbred racing, and the Eclipse is one of the foundation horses that was from England. And so the Jockey Club, that sire line carries through to the modern-day thoroughbreds. So that's kind of how to look at it. But when you mention thoroughbred, I think of horse capital of the world. We've got fans waving at us here. Horse capital of the world, and you mentioned you got involved with riding here. Well, the reason Ocala, Marion County is horse capital of the world is because in 2007, when they did a survey, they found there were more horses and ponies in this county than anyone in the United States, any other county. And second, surprisingly, was Lancaster, Pennsylvania, because of the Amish population. So, and we not only have the most horses and ponies, but the most diverse. We have some of the rarest breeds in the world that are here, from the Gypsy Vanners that came over from Europe, the Foundation sire came here, to the thoroughbreds and a variety of breeds in between.
So would FTBOA be an umbrella organization with the Paso Finos? And forgive me for kind of saying the wrong things here, but do you know what I mean? The other non-thoroughbreds.
No, but we're kindred spirits. I mean, we're thoroughbred people first and foremost. And yes, we're a little biased towards our breed, but our breed, as you heard from Tammy, traces back to some of the earliest in history, and is known as the superior breed, the breed that can run the distance, and it's the breed that dominates the racing business. But when you're a horse person, you're a horse person, and so we work very closely with the other breeds in the state, and a lot of things we get done collaboratively and collectively, because 90% of your interests are going to be the same if you're in the horse business. But our membership is specifically the thoroughbred people. But we work with all the other breeds, and we don't have anything bad to say about the other breeds. Of course, it's easy to do that when you're the superior breed like we are.
And I think too, there are committees that we work with Farm City Week, and then also this committee that hosts this show, Horse Sense, which is the Equine Committee of Marion County, or the Alliance. They work with all the different breeds, and there's so many different disciplines, and we actually see our thoroughbreds go into other disciplines like the horse shows and some other horse sports. So there's a diversity of our breed, but also the other breeds. We work really well together, because when you're going trail riding, you might be riding a thoroughbred that's retired, or you might be riding that Paso Fino with that nice gait. So it
to show you that Tammy and I actually walk the talk. We are thoroughbred people. With FTBOA, neither one of us owns a thoroughbred.
I do, actually.
Oh, do you? And then she owns 2 mini horses.
Oh, really?
I own a Paint, a Morgan, and an English spotted saddle horse for pleasure horses. So again, if you love horses, you love horses. For pleasure riding and things like that, we and showing, we get involved in all the other breeds. So we love them all very much.
Do the movie people come to you guys for horses? Or to film horses?
It's interesting, when the movie Seabiscuit and Secretariat, they did work with racetracks to do the filming and variety. In fact, when I was down in South Florida at a racetrack, they contacted us not only for horses that could possibly be used for scenes, but also for parts of the facility and to see the areas to make sure that it was authentic. But most of the horses are actually trained through some of those typical trick horse trainers that are in the movies, the movie guys that had the Black Stallion and Black Beauty movies, those, and War Horse. Those are horses that were specifically trained for that when the movie was decided to be filmed.
Oh, wow.
But there is a kind of a funny story. I'll get a little off track. Racing Stripes was a movie about a racing zebra. That racing zebra...
Chris Rock was the voice of the racing zebra, yes.
And so the racing zebra actually was born in Marion County. The zebra was from Tim Rivers' farm, and that zebra had to go to Africa because they filmed a lot of the movie in Africa, even though it was supposed to be Kentucky. And interestingly enough, the zebra had to stay there because during the filming he had a blood transfusion from the local African zebras because he got very sick, and he was the only rideable zebra in the movie. So he never got to come back here. So his full brother's here, but he lives over there. And I digress quite a bit. But it is racing, and it's another equine. It's a pretty interesting little thing.
So when you watch a movie, do you ever see mistakes? Like, they wouldn't have had that horse.
My goodness. Oh, it is something those of us in the business, we can talk about forever. Now, they've gotten much, much better. For example, Seabiscuit was done with an awful lot of accuracy. Yes, there's still things there that they had to do for the movies that just weren't realistic in real life. Secretariat was pretty realistic. They've gotten much better. You go back to the old black and white movies of the mob bosses chasing everybody around the barn area with the jockeys wearing their silks. And, I mean, we just sit there and go crazy on stuff like that. From a better standpoint, one of the most accurate movies, especially if you've run racetracks like we have, the movie Let It Ride with Richard Dreyfuss, which I love. It was filmed in Hialeah, as a matter of fact. By far one of the most accurate from the people standpoint movies. But yeah, we get a little... one of the things that we joke about the most is whenever you see... I was watching The Sopranos just the other day. There's the jockey in the barn area with his silks on right after the race, hanging out with everybody. You know, those things don't happen. The security doesn't allow that to happen. Jockeys don't wear their silks around the barn area. They're in a secured jockey's room.
Oh, really?
But you got to do what you got to do to present it to the people.
That is interesting.
But there's lots of inaccuracies, that's for sure.
And there's actually a new movie coming out called My behind that bird. It's actually called 50 to 1, and it's about the horse that won the Kentucky Derby and the story behind it, because it was a very interesting story how they hauled him in a little trailer and
out of New Mexico.
And he, it's one of those really good feel-good stories where, he's a long shot. We always root for the long shot. We always root for the underdog. We root for somebody that has that story that we'd all like to say, live that dream. And so this movie coming out, I'm interested to see. And again, you watch for those things that it's like a cop show. I'm sure the police go, well, we don't really do it that way. We don't interrogate that way. It's the same thing with the horse racing. But it's really exciting to see the number of movies that have come out in recent years, like Seabiscuit and Secretariat, and to hear people that didn't know much about horses or horse racing know those names and understand that they were champions and how important they are to people.
And part of the I guess the mission statement of your show here, Horse Sense, is to do that, is to kind of get the average person like me to know a little bit about what you guys do and what is such an important part of our county. And yes, I think that a movie might do that, even if it does make mistakes. So.
Yeah. Oh no. Any type of entertainment effort that centers on the horse is going to be a good one for us horse people. We're just always going to be a little critical on the accuracy. Wow. There is a big thing going on in Marion County today about horses. When the time is right.
Yeah, but this is a good.
Okay, is this a good time?
As good as any. Yeah.
I've got a microphone here and I've got headphones, so I might as well. And again, to show you how breed. I don't. What would Stan Bergstein used to call it? When you're. Anyway, we're
open to all breeds.
Open to all breeds. Ecumenical. Ecumenical was the same. How ecumenical we are in the horse business. One of the entities that our organization is a big supporter of, even though we don't specifically compete there. The Florida Horse Park today, which is in Marion County. A lot of people don't even know it exists.
I know.
I happen to be on the board of directors. I was appointed by Commissioner Putnam. It's a labor of love, has nothing specifically to do with my job, other than anything that's good for Marion County and good for horses in Marion County is a good thing. The horse park this last legislative session received $2 million for construction from the legislature. We decided as the board of directors of the horse park to build a covered arena. As of today, the final pillars and steel roof parts are being shipped in by the last 17 trucks, and construction is now happening for a $2 million covered arena that will be a game changer in the county, for the city, for the horse park. And this thing is going to be big enough so you could take the University of Florida football stadium and fit it inside.
Oh, wow.
So this is a significant project, significant economic development. It's a big deal for the horses. And literally at 10 o'clock today, they're going to be, as soon as this show wraps up, they're going to be doing a little press gathering there and making a few presentations and basically kicking off the erecting of the steel. So we're very excited about that.
And that will be something that if you build it, they will come. It'll be one of those.
You get it. That's absolutely right.
They're already coming, It's just nice to have that arena to do a bit more with,
And I think that's exactly right. I overheard somebody in a grocery store one time. I guess he was a snowbird or whatever, and this was not too far, probably at the Publix next door. And I heard him say, "This is supposed to be the horse capital. Where are all the horses?" So I mean, he probably drives up and down 200, maybe from top of the world to here, and is kind of doesn't see them anymore like they used to be. Once upon a time when my sister took those lessons,
And again, as you hit earlier, I think that's one of the kind of the purposes of this show is the horse industry has been such a fabric of why it's why our county and city even exist in so many ways. But the business community and the people that have arrived after, as well as the horse folks, have kind of not always made sure each other appreciated each other and listened to each other and figured out ways to work with each other. And hopefully shows like this will facilitate, the business community, the tourism industry, and our horse industry to have a more open dialogue and work with each other to promote the Marion County, Ocala, and the horse industry. So I think your show, this segment, does a noble effort towards that end.
Yes, and let me just reintroduce you. Then we'll go to the phone. I got a couple calls waiting. Lonnie Powell is here. Lonnie is the CEO and Executive Vice President. Is that right?
That's correct.
FTBOA?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And Tammy, you are the Director of Membership and Events. So you're the person to you need my number so that you can send me the news releases and all that.
There we go.
If you don't already have
And what it
it.
also means is Tammy does all the work, and I just go around talking and throw IEDs out there and start fires, and then she puts them out.
Well, and if I could say this, I got the email that I'm kind of reading as a cheat sheet here today is from Tish, and I noticed at the beginning you wrote that my email deleted something or whatever you sent to me, so I'll have to give you the one that works.
Oh, wonderful.
Because the one that I have with the radio station, I know this is kind of shop talk here just for a second, but it piles up too quick. I'm not famous, but I have a little talk show.
You are a bit more famous than you realize.
I know.
I need your autograph when we leave. All these people waving, I know it's for you.
Before we went
No,
on
no,
air,
no.
you were just telling me how famous you were.
Oh,
so-
no. Well, anyway, so but the point is that my email gets filled up so quick. It's unbelievable. But my personal one,
Oh, okay.
even though a lot of people have it, not as many people figure it out.
Right.
So I'll give it to you. That'll make it easier for you. I just want to say that. Okay. Now let's go to the phone. You're embarrassing me, by the way. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for calling.
Good morning. This is Sonny. I live out on 27 49th Avenue, and it's amazing to see all the horse trailers and the pickup trucks with the license plates from all over this country. And they're here just to do the shopping and whatever they have to do, because we have the Publix here, and it's amazing to see the different people that are associated with the horse business. The other thing I would like to say is when I came here, I used to live upstate New York, and there were quite a few horse farms and the combination farms of horses and some cattle or sheep. And I was surprised to see the horse trailers and everything from upstate New York, from, the Midwest, Colorado, Texas, a lot of people from Texas here. And I can imagine this weather is sort of, might have hurt some of the activities going on out here because of the rain and the cold, but it's a beautiful day now, so I'm going to assume everybody's going to be doing their thing with their horses out here today and maybe this weekend.
Well, Sonny, I have to tell you, you're right that we think it's cold and rainy, but if they've come from the north, for them it's perfect weather.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, I guess that has a lot to do with the horses, the jumpers, and whatever.
As you're alluding to, Sonny, the big event here in Marion County right now is what's called HITS, Horses in the Sun.
Yeah.
The big horse show. It's one of the biggest in the world, one of the most respected in the U.S., and it's here for about 2.5 months. Mm-hmm. And the impact it has on our local area is just absolutely amazing.
The other thing is, I notice a lot of people, with these funny accents like the English, and there's some German people here, and as a matter of fact, there was a guy riding in his truck, and I had a farm here, but it was a German name. I forget the name. But I used to live up in a little town, and then just south of the town once a year, they used to have polo matches,
Right.
and that was something to see.
Polo is big here in Florida, not as big up in this part of the state, but as you go down south, especially as you get to the Wellington area, it's huge.
But the thing is, you would see this open field, and all of a sudden there'd be somebody putting up these tents. Then they'd be putting up other facilities, these portable fences and stuff. And you say, okay, so what's happening? Oh, there's a polo match. And you don't see anything else. And the day of the match, all of a sudden you see the place being like a helicopter airport. Helicopters coming in, people driving in, and they'd have the match, and then there was a big get-together after the match. I guess the, wines and champagne tasting and stuff. And then bingo, the helicopters show up and up and away, and everything went. And next day, that
Yeah, Sonny, that's the...
disappearing again. But it was a once-a-year deal up where I used to live upstate New York.
And they have it quite a bit here, a bit of polo that folks might not realize. But when you mentioned the number of
cars and license plates you see from out of state and out of country. Let me tell you, just the Ocala breeder sales alone, they did a survey and they found out at one of their sales last year, 46 different states were represented and 23 countries. So the thoroughbred industry, and as you mentioned with HITS, is just worldwide. And folks from all over the world come here to Ocala, and they love when they visit Ocala. And many of them come here and end up putting farms here. So it's really wonderful with the beautiful weather, but also the friendly nature of Ocala and the current horse industry that's here just continues to grow that.
Is there a possibility of putting up a race track over by the area that they're talking about for the baseball stadium? Whether that happens in that.
Well, without being location specific, I'm part of that group as well, and our organization is the one that facilitated the legislation. There's only 2 nonprofit thoroughbred racing permits in the state. One of them belongs to us and here in Ocala. We're doing an economic feasibility study right now. We know it polls very well. People want to see. Well, anybody who lives here in Marion County.
Right.
We know none of us are going to refuse any. I think any additional items on the entertainment menu.
Right.
And at the same time, this is horse country.
Right.
And so we're taking a real hard look at it. Financially, it's tricky because of how competitive the gaming world can be, and there's some folks that are out there with other breeds trying to undercut things by doing lesser type of racetracks that really undermine our ability to invest in a thoroughbred facility. Thoroughbred facility for us is going to be a $20-30 million endeavor, and we've got people trying to get in with quarter horses in South Marion County for a few million just to have cards, and we've got to make sure that the county is not going to just be saturated with all kinds of phony permits that don't emphasize racing.
Okay.
We're really we're taking a long, hard look at it, but we are one of the only counties in the state that is still eligible to build a thoroughbred track, and we'd like to build a thoroughbred track.
Well, that would make sense.
In a poker room, if we could. One other thing I might mention that a lot of people don't realize is just the racing breeds, thoroughbreds, quarter horses, and standardbreds in Florida. Their economic impact and thoroughbreds are over 95% of this number. Our annual economic impact, we just had a study done this year, is $1 billion a year. This doesn't count the show horses, the pleasure horses. Jobs in excess of 12,000, but even more importantly, an economic impact annually that far exceeds baseball spring training. And that's just the racing breed. Doesn't count hits or anything else like we're talking about.
It would be nice. I think I would like to support that. If I go to Google Earth or whatever, or fly over the county, there's a lot of what looks like tracks. Those are training tracks, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't it amazing? You go, what? There's a track there. There's a track there.
Can we go? I mean, can we go watch that like we might watch spring training in baseball?
Well, you can actually go over, and the closest one would be over at Ocala Breeder Sales. And every morning they're working horses on the track.
And there's bleachers or something?
There's bleachers. You can go
Really?
out and get a cup of coffee. You can sit there, watch. You'll see them timing and training, and they do it every morning from about 6 a.m., maybe about 5 for some of them, to about 10 a.m.
Really? Saturday?
Yeah, every day of the week, and it's beautiful. And I will tell you, the sunrise that comes up over there, especially with the mist in the morning, is just spectacular. Just to sit there and enjoy the view and watch the horses.
Wow. Nice photo op.
In fact, next week, Thursday and Friday, the 2-year-olds that will be going through the sales ring the following week on the 10th and 11th. And again, this is the biggest 2-year-old sale in
the world now.
The world. Okay, it's going to happen here in 2 weeks. Those 2-year-olds will be put to their training paces. It's called undertack in front of the racetrack at OBS next Thursday and Friday morning and afternoon, and then they'll be in the sales ring on Monday and Tuesday. But that would be a wonderful opportunity to see some of the best 2-year-old baby horse flesh in the country practicing around here and getting ready to go into the big sales ring. Some of them are going to bring some huge prices, and we have people from all over the world here to watch these horses and bid on these horses.
And one of these could be a future Kentucky Derby winner. It's happened before.
It's happened many times.
It's happened. Many of those contenders train here.
I think the show is doing what it's supposed to do, because if I'm feeling it, then other people are feeling it, and the feeling is that, man, I want to do this. I want to be part of this. I want to see some of this. I want to become more involved. I love taking pictures. I'm not good at it, but I love doing it. So I'll go out and take pictures.
Right, it's a great visual sport.
I tell you,
maybe accidentally get a good one,
It'll make you the best photographer because I tell you, a horse in motion.
Because the models are good, right?
The horse in motion, nature, I mean, all of those things are just naturally, like you said, visually stunning when you see the racing silks and even people just out on the rail cheering and seeing people's emotion. It's like just the most easy thing for a photographer, I think. Now, professional photographers might say, well, it's a little more challenging than that.
Well, they gotta
but
earn their
for
money.
those of us that are novices, we can get the good shot.
Well, you guys are fun. Tammy Gant and Lonnie Powell, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
And do you want to give any information, websites, email?
I do. I want to
numbers?
mention that the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association is over on Airport Road, and you can give us a call at 352-629-2160. We have our gala, biggest gala of the year, coming up for the industry on March 9th, about 400 people at Circle Square. If you'd like more information, give us a call. Also, we have our weekly Thoroughbred Week TV show on Fox 51. Airs on Sunday mornings at 8:30 a.m. We'd love for folks to tune in and watch the Florida horses compete nationally.
Also, website www.ftboa.com.
All right, excellent. Thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank
All right,
you.
we'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
I'm a different breed. Come on, follow me. We'll make it through.